like I said, man, a lot of people can shut the fuck up now about Nikola Jokic, and that goes into our next topic, talking about Jokic's history. Where does he rank with other legendary big men in the game? Now, I will say this: there's a lot of great centers to play this game, and there's even more if you just consider big men, and that now you're including power forwards and things like that. But I'm gonna stick to the centers here with this one, man. This was a stat to me that I saw on Monday after they won, which was nuts to me, and I didn't really think about it. He is the first Finals MVP as a center since Shaquille O'Neal in 2002. That was 21 years ago, people. It has been that long since a center was NBA Finals MVP. This guy is the first player in NBA history to lead the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists. What we saw Jokic do over these 6-7 weeks was just some shit that I don't think we're gonna see unless it's coming from him again. And I think the tough thing when you do these Mount Rushmore or all time questions is you also have to put errors into it. And all due respect to the other errors, man, I don't know if he's on the Mount Rushmore, but he's in the Mount Rushmore conversation. I probably wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore right now. I think if I had to do, he's probably number 5. My center Mount Rushmore is still Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bill Russell. Those are still mine, but I think he's right there. I think this is some shit we're seeing from we haven't seen before. This guy is a playmaker to the point where even when he's not scoring, he can be just as effective by not scoring, and that's something that nobody else on that Mount Rushmore can do. And just the straight up pure domination that we saw from him. He's still young. He's still young. He can run this up and do even more, man. But I do think that this championship puts him in elite company because over the last couple of years, him winning back-to-back MVPs, him having a shot to be the first player since Larry Bird to win 3 straight MVPs this year. The only knock on him was what's he going to do in the playoffs? And I never really 100% liked that conversation because people act like it was Jokic's fault that they weren't making it to the NBA Finals. No, they just didn't have a healthy team. They hadn't had their healthy team since the bubble. And the bubble, they played the Lakers in the bubble in the West Conference Finals, and the Lakers were the best team in basketball that year. And this is a team where even if the Nuggets, if you look at it, they probably shouldn't even been there. With them, they were down 3-1 to the Clippers. If the Clippers had an ounce of killer instinct, they wouldn't even been there. But it's just really more growth more than anything. And he finally had his healthy complements of players this year. And this is what we saw. This is what the result was the entire season. But Jokic is one of one. Jokic is one of one. I know this is where very hot and cold now. We had a long debate. If you listen to summer sessions on the Barbershare Patreon, we talked about this, and the homie JR Bang was like, well, we loving Jokic now. If he don't win next year, they're gonna kill him. Yeah, that's just the belly. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just how sports media is right now. I mean, everybody was calling Jimmy Butler Jimmy Buckets, Hemi Buckets. He's Michael Jordan's son. Is this the best Miami Heat performance since Wade in 2006? Like, it was a whole bunch of shit. Now he ain't shit. I've seen people make memes with his face split up with Tony fucking Snell. And we've even got like Giannis. Look at Giannis. Giannis just won a championship 2 years ago. Giannis led his team to the #1 record in basketball this year, and now everybody's counting Giannis out. And so I know it's that kind of a thing in the NBA. If they don't repeat next year, they will say the same thing. But if people who actually know the game of basketball and know how this thing goes, then you're not seeing nothing like Jokic, bro. Like, just the way it is, the guy is effortless. It was some of the most beautiful basketball I've ever watched in my life. Really, this entire postseason, not just with him, the entire postseason was entertaining to me. Now the NBA Finals, and since everybody wanted to talk about ratings for the last couple weeks, well, nobody wants to see Heat and Nuggets. Yeah, the ratings were down. I think they said like 22% compared to last season, which is expected because it was the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics, two huge organizations, two franchises that have amazing fan bases. But I feel like the numbers weren't that bad, and for the playoffs as a whole, playoff ratings as a whole were up, and I think that's a good thing for the NBA. You got guys like Jokic who are just entering the prime of their careers, and talent-wise, going to hold the league down. Now, as far as personality, we all know Jokic, he don't give a fuck. Jokic didn't even want to go to the parade. He wanted to go straight back to Serbia, which we saw at the parade today. He was drunk, had a couple Steve Weisers, and he said that I said I wanted to go home, but I want to fucking be at this parade. He probably doesn't. That's probably not the marketing that the NBA wants. And I do think that American basketball is looking pretty not looking pretty good right now. But I think just on talent is great for the NBA, and I think this is a great postseason. And Jokic, whether you want to, say he's Mount Rushmore or not, I do think he's into the chat, and I think it's about time that everybody who has something to say about him, it's time you give him his damn respect. And even defensively, I mean, is he a great defender? No, but I do think him being a bad defender is a bad take. People act like he's a fucking turnstile. Like the dude can at least tries. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't bad this postseason defensively. So shout out Nikola Jokic, shout out Michael Malone, shout out Jamal Murray, shout out Michael Porter Jr., shout out the Denver Nuggets, first NBA championship since they've come to the NBA, 47 years. Shout out to those fans out there, man. They had a nice showing at the parade.